Yeah, so the Detroit Lions got some good news and bad news, and it's with the same guy. And I think that's really kind of interesting and unique to look at. And what I am looking at here is honestly, the news is bad, but it's good because of everything that happened around it. So we're going to get into that in a second. But before we do that, if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, we just hit 20,000 subs. We're super excited about that. Like, what a great community we have here at Sports Talk Detroit. So thankful for all of you. So thank you for being loyal listeners. Some of you are listening for the first time. Give us a listen just for a little bit. See if you like it. Maybe watch a couple other videos. Hit that subscribe button. Even if it's on Chris, who's the other guy who does this channel, even if you hit the subscribe on his video, don't worry. I won't be offended. That's all right. But anyways, let's look at Hendon Hooker for a second. And I think everybody was all intrigued about this guy. And then like everybody was like, "Oh, let's talk about Hooker. Oh, let's talk about Hendon. I want to see what he's got." And then Jared Goff signs a massive extension, thus putting to bed any of the thoughts that Hendon Hooker was going to be our next QB1 after this year. I think there were still some Hendon Hooker hopefuls that thought he would be the guy. And even after this year, he's not it. We have fully set up Jared Goff to be successful. But Hendon Hooker's not looking great in OTAs. So they're saying an expected, and yes, easily expected, up and down OTA from Hendon Hooker. However, in listening to and hearing a couple of the Lions beat writers, Kyle Meinke and Ben Raven, talk, they said, yeah, it was up and down, but it was pretty much mostly down. So the thing about Hendon Hooker is that he has thrown some passes that are just unbelievable. You see the arm talent, you see where the accuracy is there, and you see the upside of like the positive sides of what Hendon Hooker can be. However, that was few and far between. Went into an explanation of situational football, where there was only 9 seconds left on the clock, no timeouts left, and they were down 4 points in, I think they were inside the 30-yard line, the opponent's 30-yard line. Hendon Hooker, 4-second play, ends up going to a check down over the middle of the field. As time expires, coaches are not happy. It doesn't make sense. Dan Campbell, actually, from what I'm hearing, just went in and goes, well, game's over, boys, and that was it. So these are the kind of things that are happening because he's not quite there yet. All right? And here's what Dan Campbell had to say. But here's the thing. All the bad news I'm going to tell you about Hendon Hooker right now, but we're going to end it with some good, and I'm going to tell you why it's not the end of the world just yet. All right? Dan Campbell said, yeah, he just needs to take a step up. We need to feel like by the end of camp, this guy, he can run this offense. He can be somebody we know that, man, we can play the game a certain way with him. We know he's going to be able to process the information. He's going to get us in the right play, and he's going to keep the ship afloat. That's it. We don't need him to come in and win a game. You just want to feel like, all right, so obviously he's going to need to take another step up. In other words, Dan Campbell's saying he's not there yet. He's not there yet. And that is fully understanding that he's just a backup quarterback. So last year, we bring in Teddy Bridgewater based on how he was throwing the ball. Thank goodness he didn't have to play in a game. But we just need Hendon Hooker to get to a place where he can confidently and effectively run this offense. He's not there yet. So he's probably going to go. He's going to spend some time at his buddy Teddy Bridgewater's house. He's going to be continuing to learn the offense. He's going to be continuing to work on his mechanics. He's going to continue to do all of these things. Before Thursday's minicamp practice, Campbell talked about the progress he expects to see and what he has seen. And he gave us a ton. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for being a coach. We have a channel, Sports Talk Extra, that covers multiple teams. And I'm just telling you, the media for Detroit is fantastic. And the amount of quotes and the amount of information that our coaching staff gives that's above and beyond what is the standard in the NFL. Just think what Patricia was doing before this, right? This is such a great place to be a fan because you get to know what's going on. Like, it's not all hidden, and the team's still winning. All right, here's what he said. He's gotten, I don't know, but I would guess he's gotten more game situations as a backup quarterback than probably most in a spring. We've put him in so many hard situations, which has been unbelievable to have those. But you've got everything we've done to this point. You ought to have every script with you, and you should be going through every one of them every day. I should be going through the play call. I'm in the huddle. I'm going to visualize this. All right, here's the coverage. I see it. Here's the safety. I'm going to check to this so that by the time you get back, you should have a real good grasp at what we are doing. The install is not going to change. It's not really going to change, he said, not offensively. Campbell said, we're going to pretty much go in with what we went in with this spring. So I expect a player that is much, much more comfortable coming into camp than when he left in spring. Let's remember what Hendon is. He's a guy that tore his ACL at the end of his final year of college. He's a guy that might have honestly won the Heisman that year. But he tears his ACL. Then he sits for a year. And yeah, he can do mental reps till the cows come home. So he hasn't played for a year. All right, an entire year and some change. He's going to be rusty. He's a rookie quarterback. He's coming from a system that was not nearly as complex as this one. So all of these things make sense. So when I say the Lions got good news and bad news, and I've only talked about bad news for the most part until almost the 7-minute mark of this video, where's the good news? Here's the good news. We have Jared Goff. We have a starting quarterback. This guy that you're hoping is good enough to play backup quarterback that can just competently run the offense. That's what your hope is for Hendon Hooker, is not in any way, shape, or form going to be our starter. There are 10 teams in the NFL that have a starter that they're just like, I wish this was not our starting quarterback. Honestly, there's probably 15 teams that feel that. The Detroit Lions are not one of them. They're not. And now there's even more talent that has surrounded. This is a team that's not built to have, or need a quarterback that's just going to be a gunslinger, because they have a great offensive line. They have a great running game. They have phenomenal weapons on the outside, whether you're talking St. Brown, whether you're talking Laporta. J-My, I hope you become it. So the good news is that we have signed Goff to a long-term contract, so we don't need to worry as much if Hendon Hooker is going to become a starting caliber quarterback. We just need him to become a guy who can come in and play. And my hope is that it's 2 years from now. It's 3 years from now that Goff can stay healthy, and we don't need him until he's in year 4, and he's got this offense down pat, and he's had multiple preseason games under his belt, and he's played in garbage time, if that even exists in the NFL, right? So that is the good news, is he's not our starter. And hopefully Goff can remain healthy, so we don't necessarily have to find out. All right, thanks for watching. It's June, but we're still coming at you every day with new Lions content, and there's actually news coming at us right now. So let's enjoy it while it lasts. See ya.